What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Joe here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Antec's new Prizm 120 ARGB fan kit. This is going to be a great solution for those of you guys who are on a budget or don't want to spend a ton on some RGB fans and strips, but you'd like to add a little bit of flair to your build. So without getting too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we go ahead and dive in and see exactly what comes with the kit. Inside the box, you guys will find 3 P120 RGB fans, 2 RGB LED strips, a PWM RGB handoff connection, an RGB header adapter for those of you guys running gigabyte boards, the RGB fan controller itself, and of course screws and Velcro for mounting the controller. The P120 fans are an all plastic construction but do have a nice heavy feel. Before we even have them connected, you can see they're equipped with dual RGB rings, so whether you have them mounted as a push or a pull, you can still see the RGB effects, which is always nice. On the front side, you can see Antec's put their logo on the fans with a small yellow highlight. This would have been a little bit better if they'd have gone for a black and gray design, but if the logo bothers you enough, you could always just remove that little sticker. The corners of the fan have small rubber anti-vibration pads, and you'll also notice 2 leads coming off each of the fans. One of those connections is a control for fan speed and power, and the other controls RGB functionality. The lengths of these leads are right around 50 centimeters or 19.5 inches. The kit we're looking at today, if it didn't give it away, is the 120 millimeter variant. These fans are rated with a max speed of 2000 RPMs and a max push of 45.03 CFM and a max noise level of 32.6 dBA. Each of the RGB strips in this kit includes 23 RGB LEDs, and they're about 40 centimeters long or 15 3/4 inches, with the wire leads measuring in slightly longer than the strips, around 45 centimeters or 17 3/4 inches. Each strip's backing has been lined with a magnetic stripping. This basically doubles the thickness of the strip, but also provides for an easy install. Moving on to the control, you'll see a clearly noted layout. There are 2 buttons on the top of the controller for the LED speed and RGB mode. On one length of the control, you'll see there's 5 connections for your LED strips or your fan LEDs, and then on the opposing side, there is 5 connections for the PWM connections, allowing you to, again, control your fan speeds. If you guys are planning to mix and match things here, you'll only be able to connect up to 5 RGB devices. You can mix and match them, so if you want 3 fans with the 2 LED strips like this kit comes with, you could do that. Or you can also go with, like a 5 fan kit, which I'll kind of cover in a little bit here. And you could just do 5 RGB fans and ditch the strips as well. Install of this kit is pretty straightforward. You route your RGB connections to the RGB 3-pin connections on the controller. Route your 4-pin PWM connections back to their designated spots on the controller as well. Connect the PWM cable to a header on your motherboard and the RGB header if you plan to control the fans with onboard software. Connect that single RGB/PWM connection back into the controller. And finally, you'll need a SATA connection to power the controller and also the LEDs on the fans and all that good stuff. If you guys are looking for a permanent install solution for the controller, they've included a Velcro strip to basically Velcro the controller anywhere in the case. You know, unfortunately, I felt like it would have been nice to include maybe some magnets like we saw in, the other controllers that we've looked at in the past, or, save some of that magnetic stripping that they used on the back of the RGB strips to use here as well. For those of you guys planning to use this kit without having an RGB header on your motherboard or onboard RGB control, why don't we go ahead and do a quick test and see what modes come included with the controller. obviously RGB strips and RGB fans are nothing new, and everybody kind of does it a little bit different. As you guys have seen, I've done a ton of these reviews on different kits. You know, some of the things I wasn't really a fan of with this kit though, especially were the LED strips. I didn't really like how the magnetic strips had that thick magnet on the back. Kind of makes it difficult for you to be able to bend the strips around the edges of a computer, and they're so long that like you would probably need to bend them around the edges unless you're using you know, a larger case like the Fantex Into Evolve that I have. You know, if you got into a smaller case, you definitely have to bend the corners for the strips to fit into your build, and at that point you run into these weird issues where the magnetic stripping's like separating from the LED strips. So you know, that was kind of one of my major gripes about that. The fans themselves though, there wasn't really too much to complain about. Obviously you know, for me, I'd prefer to have less cables on the fans and do like all-in-one solution, but at the same time maybe somebody else would like to be able to separate the fan speed control and put that on their motherboard rather than using it on the controller. So I see both sides of it, whether you know, simplify the connection method to the controller or leave it separated. You know, it just kind of depends on what you guys prefer. For those of you guys who are interested in checking out the kit we're looking at today, it comes with the 3 fans, the 2 strips of course, and the controller for $59 US. They also offer a kit with, I believe, 140mm fans, and then they also offer a kit with 5 RGB fans, and then additionally, you could also just get, you know, fans separate if you guys wanted to add to your set. But, you know, I think for $59, it's going to be a pretty challenging offer to beat. I know that I did have my complaints about the RGB strips, but when you look at the other kits out there that have maybe a little bit better quality of strip, those kits are going to cost you more than double what this kit does. And so far from what we've seen, the quality of the kit seems to be pretty good as far as the functionality goes once it's installed. So I think it's going to be a great option for those of you guys who are looking to save a little bit of money and want to just basically add a little bit of that flair to your build. That being said, feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns down in the comment section below. If I missed something, I'm always happy to hear that stuff down there. And of course, you know, let me know what you guys think about this kit. Do you guys like the Prizm kits? Would you guys like to see more RGB stuff come from Antec in the future? I know they have a new case that just came out, I believe just the other day. That's got some built-in RGB stuff. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Maybe I can reach out to them and see if they want to partner up for a video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up on the way out if you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, guys, this has been JoesTech. I'll see you in the next video.